Hola y bienvenidos a otro episodio de Spanglish. Por favor, this is your girl, Mary.
And Carol.
Hey guys, what's up? Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody that's on our Instagram and our TikTok. Bienvenidos, aquí estamos. Otro día más, what is it? Every 2 weeks we're recording.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're on schedule for you guys.
We sure are. So today we actually have a good friend of Caro that's helping us. So we really appreciate your help, Vince. We have a few topics today. Caro, have you ever Googled your name?
No.
You've never?
I mean, not like deeply, like into it, you know, like just, you know, and when I Google it, I just find like my Facebook,
okay,
or like, you know, my social media stuff. Like it's not like I see full details.
Okay. So I know someone that Googles that person's name, like his name, all the time, like always. He's done that since like middle school, so he's always Googled his name. And there's this other person who has the same exact name, so he kind of stalks that person. But he's like not in a creepy way, just it's interesting to him to know that there's someone else that's representing his name as well.
That's creepy.
It is creepy, but when he explains it to you, you're like, okay, I get it. So he's like, you know what, I represent my name, and I never thought of like someone actually having my exact name and also representing it as well, and how they represent it.
That could be tricky though. Like what about if they're up to no good?
That's why he's like, that's the reason why I actually got into Googling my name. So I periodically go in there and I Google my name, and I was like, you know what, let me Google my name. So I Googled my name. And you know, my real name is Maria. My maiden last name is Alfaro. But I go by Mary, and my married last name is Wagner. So I Googled both of them. I was like, you know what, let me Google both of them. So I Googled Maria Alfaro, and there's a Maria del Rosario Alfaro that came up for me. And there was a whole court case. I was like, oh my God, let me look into it and let me see what's going on right here. So this girl was 18 years old when she got convicted of first-degree murder, first-degree robbery, and first-degree burglary. ¿Cómo se dice?
Girl, you're asking the wrong person, okay? I'm the girl with the biggest fucking accent, okay? So like, yo
so this was in June of 1990. She killed a 9-year-old named Autumn Wallace. She stabbed her to death. But the story just keeps going and going, and it rolls and it rolls, and it just keeps going down. And guess what? She actually was friends with the older sister in high school. Yeah, so she was welcomed into the home. They allowed her to stay there. She didn't have a very stable home. She grew up with an alcoholic, abusive father. So he used to be really abusive to her mom and to her and the kids. And it was, you know, she had a crazy life. She started running away when she was about 12. She started doing drugs when she was about that age. Her mom tried to get her help. Unfortunately, the insurance didn't pay. I mean, it's this whole deal.
You know what's so crazy? I feel like you're sounding like you know this person, and you literally just Googled her.
Exactly. I mean, all her whole information
like you
was
literally
there.
know everything about this girl, and I'm like,
and everything. I mean, I even got stories from other people that know her, and I was like, what the heck? I mean, it's crazy what Google does, right? So I Googled that, and I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy.
This will tell you, careful what you put on in the internet, guys, because nothing goes away.
Nada se borra. Nada se borra. So I thought that was interesting, and I ended up looking Mary Wagner up, and that one was just a girl who was, she's a Canadian who's an anti-abortion advocate. Okay. And she was in jail for like 6 years, but it was just interesting.
They both were in jail?
In jail, I know.
For different reasons.
For different reasons, but they were there. So I thought it was really interesting just Googling my name. So if you guys haven't ever Googled your name, go ahead and Google it. Go on the second page, the third page. Start looking
beyond that, because if you go to the first, it's just going to pop your social media.
Yeah, most likely, because Google will know that it's you, so your stuff will come up, but you just dig in deep and see what you guys find out.
Yes.
So I'm going to have, that's going to be your homework.
Okay. I'll Google my name. My name, my actual name.
Your actual name.
Carolina Medina. That's my name.
Carolina. I like that. Carolina.
You know, when I was growing up, I hated my name, guys.
Really?
I fucking hated my name because se me hacía como like too strong. And I was like little, I was like petite, you know, and I was like, what's your name? And I'll be like this little ass girl, like, oh, Carolina. It seems like a señora name to me, you know? So I fucking hated my name. But now I like it because it sounds like very like powerful. So I'm like, when they're like, what's your name? I'm like, Carolina. You know? I like it.
I like that. I like Carolina. I like Caro too, though. But yeah, that'll be your homework.
Okay.
So there was a question that was sent to us by one of our listeners, and so I'm gonna bring it up, and we'll get people's opinions. I would actually like to get TikTok and Instagram involved and see what you guys think. So we're gonna ask the question, and you guys can share your opinions.
Pitch in, guys.
So the pregunta is it possible to have a healthy relationship with someone who's still legally married and lives with partner but unhappy? Can something real come out of this? What do you think?
No. That's a no for me.
No, that's a straight no.
That's a no for me. I feel like no, because like in my case, like back in where I was in my, situation, I felt like I had a lot of rencor towards that person, and there was no way I could ever lo miraba, and I just wanted to
punch him.
Yes.
But if you would have had someone at that time that you could have gotten involved with, do you think it would have went to something serious?
What do you mean?
Still living with to
have an actual relation, like outside.
Yeah.
See, like for me, I can't do it. Like I can't lie, and even though if I wasn't with that person, I wouldn't be able to live in the same household, knowing I had like a past with this person, and me going like I'd rather just like move out and start over. Like there's no way I could do that. Like I don't know. Personally me, I just couldn't do it. Like I can't. No, I just couldn't do it.
No.
Me, like my conscience
no te
kills
dejaría.
me. No me deja. No
te dejaría.
No, I couldn't.
That's a hard one for me because I've never been in that situation. I'm still married. I'm still with my husband. I don't know. I don't think, but I mean, you have to remember that basically you live with this person, but you guys are at the end of your relationship, and for whatever reason you haven't moved out or he hasn't moved out.
No.
I don't think I could jump into a relationship that fast when I'm getting out of a long relationship or such a serious relationship as a marriage. I don't think I would be ready emotionally to even get involved in a new relationship and start over. Y no sé, yo creo que depende, because if the husband or the partner or significant other that you still live with, that you're still legally married to, that you guys are going through a divorce and getting separated, if he's so toxico, he's gonna be on your shit.
Yeah, dude, that's how people get murdered. I'm sorry, but jealousy is a thing, and it's like,
it's real, yeah. I mean, it's real.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Real. So I don't know. That's a really hard one. But that's a really good question. So if you guys want to share your opinions, you guys can go ahead and put it in the chat right now.
In the comments.
Or you guys can also send it to us in private if you guys would prefer to have a private conversation, and we can always share it in one of the other episodes. Si tienen preguntas, si quieren escuchar de un tópico.
We want to be a little bit more interactive this episode, right?
Yes, we want to be more interactive. So if you guys want to start leaving your comments, please do, because we're going to be reading them. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, or if you guys are listening to us on Anchor, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, you guys can follow us on TikTok and Instagram. What is your Instagram?
It's @caro_m.
El mío, I just changed it, guys. I just got a name change.
But Spanglish, por favor, would be the best.
Yes,
right?
Spanglish, por favor, would be the best. We do go live on ours, but you guys make sure to follow the Spanglish, por favor, on both Instagram and TikTok.
That's where we take most of the requests and questions and comments,
Yes. So make sure that you guys are following our pages and also interacting with the comments. We want to get you guys more involved moving forward, so that way we can have a back and forth. So if you guys, again, are listening on Anchor, or if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure that you guys are following us so that you guys can be a part of the podcast. So I can't see from here. Can you see?
No, girl, I'm fine with that.
So just send us whatever your comment or your answer is to that question to Spanglish, por favor, on Instagram, and we will make sure that we share it on the next episode. You have a really good topic that you wanted to bring up.
Okay, so as you guys know, I do have if you're new to this podcast, I'm a single mom. I have a son, and I co-parent with my son's dad. And one of the things that really grinds my gears is when people ask me ¿y el papá ¿te ayuda? And I'm like, yeah, well, we're joint custody. And they're like, ay, pues qué bueno que te ayuda. And I'm like, that really grinds my gears because like, why is it que bueno? Like, that's his responsibility.
Right.
Like, that's as my responsibility too as a mom to be there for my kid, right? So why is it like, ay, pues qué bueno? Like, why do we praise
something that should be?
And it doesn't even have to be a dad, but it, like, even, like, I as far as, like, there's, like, deadbeat dad. I'm not saying mine's, we co-parent really good, I'm just saying, but, like, deadbeat dads, deadbeat moms, like, why do we have to be like, ay, pues qué bueno que te ayuda? Like, I feel like it's, like, a thing, like.
Yeah. It's their job, it's their responsibility, it's part of being a parent.
Kid. Like, why, por qué siempre cuando uno tiene hijos, siempre la responsabilidad siempre es with the mom.
With
like,
the mom.
The biggest responsibility is, like, with the mom. And my mom always told me, she's like, ay, Caro, cuando tengas hijos, she's like, los niños son de la mamá. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
no, it's ours. We made them. It was you and me.
I mean, I get the part of it. Like, I guess we bought, since we get pregnant, like, we bought with our babies.
Yeah.
From that start, you know, and the other partner or, you know, doesn't. But, like, why is it that it's always like, oh, pues qué bueno que te ayude. Oh, qué bueno que está en la vida del niño. And I'm like, I mean, he should be, right?
He should be doing. I think it's because in society we're so used to fathers always not being there, not being present, not helping, not being a part of the kids' lives, especially.
And not only that, we're so used to, like, in my case, my dad, yo no tengo memorias de mi papá when I was younger because he was always working. Like, he was providing for us, right?
Right.
But, like, why is it like that toda la carga de los niños tiene que ser de la mamá, you know? Like, I don't know. And it's different now. In our times, we work the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. We have the same financial responsibilities as the father. We have the same carga con los biles en la casa. So it should be equal. Honestly, I'm really blessed and thankful that my husband is not only at home with us, but he's really, really hands-on with our kids. He's a great father, but it is hard to find. So I can see why people praise them, o como a veces dicen, les dan sus galletas, or, you know, the saying that says you want a cookie, you know, you give them their cookie, you give them their praise. But we do it at home too. Like, for example, if my husband me ayuda a limpiar, I always say thank you for doing that. Or when my son does it, like, you have to think, man, they need to feel appreciated, and so do we, but we can live without.
Yes.
Like, if we don't get praise for cleaning the house, we're like, oh well, it's done.
Like, why is it like it's always our responsibility to do everything, right?
But now it goes back to you're a boy mom. I'm a mother of boys as well. So now it is my responsibility as a woman to teach my boy that, like, household responsibilities, being a father or being involved with your kids is not just a woman or a mom responsibility, but it's also yours. Like, there shouldn't be a gender responsibility when it comes to that. Like, everybody who has kids should be involved in their lives, should know. Like, one thing that I appreciate about my husband is that he's involved at school too. Like, if there's a teacher-parent conference meeting, or we have to go to school, or my son has something at school,
hey, but what did you tell me last
always
time?
There.
That he likes to handle it because what?
Because what?
He likes to handle it because what? What happened?
Oh, but that's different. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. I go crazy for my kid. I really do, especially if I feel like I'm super supportive with teachers. If they need anything, like, even if it's like supplies or they need volunteers, I'm there. But there is teachers out there that can be very disrespectful, especially when they see kids whose parents are not involved. Not mine. Mine is the wrong one to do. Like, I will be in that school, like, in 5 seconds. Don't play with mine. Like, I'm 100% involved. So he likes to step in and handle it so that I can just sit back and chill, which helps me, though. It helps me because now I don't have to stress. Like, if there's a serious situation, he will handle it. Because if I go handle it, it might just get out of hand. It might get crazy. But, I mean, I see your point, though. I do see your point. Like, why do we have to praise men for things that they should already be doing as fathers?
Yeah, and I swear, like, everybody that asks me, like, oh, well, es siempre lo mismo. It's never once like, oh, well, that's good because he should be involved. Like, no, oh, pues qué bueno que, like, like, it's just like, what if he wasn't though? Like, what if he wasn't like involved? Like, would it be still like, ah, qué bueno? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just,
that's such a weird.
But you know what? Talking about you and your boys and how like you're like trying to teach them, I feel like I wish I had that dynamic with my kid. And it's so different with me because, you know, I can't really have the same communication you have with your kids.
Right.
So
it's a little hard. It's a little different.
It's way different.
Do you want to let them know why though? Para que entiendan.
Because, I mean, I don't know. I've talked about it before in other episodes and stuff like that, but my son's autistic. And the way I communicate or try to communicate with him is so different the way that she communicates with your kids. Yeah. And I love the way she communicates with her kids. You know, like she talks to them like if they're like adults, little grown-ups, you know? Yeah. So I look at her like interacting with her kids, and my way I interact with my kids is way different,
Very
you know?
Different. But it's understandable though. I think that if I was in the same situation as yours, I think it would be a little different with my boys, or even if it was just one of them, like it would be really different. My boys, fortunately enough, no tienen autism, so I like to treat them like little young men. You know what I mean? Like you're not an adult yet, and you're not going to have adult responsibilities. But I think that sometimes we underestimate our children. Yeah. Sometimes we dumb them down, or we treat them like they're dumb, or like they don't understand, or
I feel like I'm at fault at that because, you know, my son does have a disability that I'm always like, oh, I baby him so much, you know? And I feel like that kind of like backfires on me a lot. Yeah. You know, because I want him to be more independent. You know, and...
But are you working on it?
I could be better.
You could be better.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you know, and at least now you can set a plan moving forward and try to work on it. And I know it's hard because it's not that I don't baby my boys, I do. Like there's times where I do baby them. There's times where my husband is like, no, they need to understand. I'm like, no, he's just a baby. Yeah. I mean, it happens, and I think as moms, the love or the como dices, la relationship que tienes con tus hijos, like, it started so early. From the minute that you get pregnant, you start bonding with them. That is really different with men. Like the relationship that my husband has with our kids is a little bit different than what I have with my kids. But it happens. I mean, I do it too. I'm not always hard on them. There's those times where I get weak and I see their little puppy faces, and it does it, and it melts me, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine, you know. But I mean, don't feel guilty.
Yeah, mom guilt, like I said, it's real.
Yes, that is real. So we still have some more people here on Instagram and on TikTok. Nos están mandando saludos. Hola, hola, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos. So yeah, how's your baby doing with school though?
It was his first week, and I feel like ya el viernes, I feel like he was like, it was too long for him because we were driving to school and we were even pulling up to school and he saw school and he was like, like he was like doing like a little whine, and I felt so bad, but I was like, bye, like,
peace,
I'm go to school. I've been wanting him to go to, no, pero para él la rutina is really good for him. Yeah. Like routine is so good for him because he just thrives on it, you know, like he likes that. Like even at home when he's not at school, like he wakes up at a certain time. He wakes up and he needs to eat. Like él tiene una rutina.
That's cute though. I love that.
It's cool, but like if you like mess one thing up, oh girl.
Yeah, it's a serious. Yeah,
serious but it's cool. We have a new teacher, and my son actually goes to he does special needs classes. So I found out that his teacher, if we do stay in the same area, that's going to be his teacher for 3 years. So that's kind of cool, you know?
That's good. Routine. Yeah. That's really good. I really think that we should have more education when it comes to like special needs for kids, for other kids. Like for other kids, even adults. As adults, what's that one show that you told me about that I watched?
Love in the Spectrum?
Yeah. No, not Love in the Spectrum. ¿Cómo se llama?
I know which one you're
Oh
talking
my
about.
God, I can't even think of the name right now. But watching
The
the
guy
show,
with the penguins.
yes, like I honestly I learned so much from that show, and I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? There's so many little things that they put in the show that as an adult I don't know, and I should know, because these kids grow up to be adults.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we don't understand, you know, people with special needs, and it's unfortunate that we're not educated enough. I think that we should be educated on it de una edad súper temprana para que así nosotros aprendamos, le enseñemos a nuestros hijos, and it would be like a better environment for people with special needs.
Yes,
I
correct.
Feel like
it scares me though. Like I can't. Like I like think about the future, and it kind of like gives me anxiety, you know, because I'm like, ¿cómo va a ser mi niño when he's older, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how is he gonna be as an adult? What is he gonna do? What is he gonna like? Like, is he even gonna date? Is he gonna even move? Is he even gonna live his own life? Like, is he gonna stay with me or his dad for the rest of the life? You know, his life. I don't know. I'm just. But you know, lo que dicen, you get, what is it? You get anxiety when you think about the future.
The future, yeah.
And you get depressed when you think about the past. So I guess
That's
right now
true.
we just have to think about the present. So
That's true. That's true, 100%. I think he should be fine. I did watch Love on the Spectrum. I watched the U.S. one, and now I'm watching. Is it Australia?
I think it's Australia.
Yeah, now I'm watching that one. It's very interesting to see how their brain works.
It's cool, huh?
Super cool. Like
honestly,
super
I feel like I look at Ollie, and like he has like very like different characteristics of other kids, and I'm like, dude, my kid's pretty cool, you know, like in his own little way.
Yeah.
I struggle a lot, but he's cool. He's a cool kid.
I'm pretty sure he's more than cool. He's more than cool. I always try to teach my son, you know, like, hey, there's gonna be kids that are gonna be a little bit different than you, and it's okay. And
well, remember back in our days, we never thought about like no sabíamos que niño was in the spectrum. We were like, oh, pues ese niño es a little different, or el rarito, you know, like. But like now, like there's so many.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that back then a lot of parents used to just homeschool their kids, because you wouldn't see that many kids.
¿Verdad que no?
Y no es que no habían, pero me imagino que era su manera de protegerlos, you know, from the world. I remember we had one when I was like in 4th grade, and he would always chase me all the time, and I was so scared of him. But now looking back, I'm like, he probably just wanted to play.
Yeah.
Like he probably just wanted to play, and I was scared. I would run. But it goes back to being ignorant to certain things that we weren't taught, that we didn't talk about, that we didn't see or had any knowledge about.
Yeah. I don't think my mom or my parents ever told me like, oh, in a clase, or if you ever see anybody different than you, you know, like treat them like, you know, I just felt like I was, like me as a person, I just knew how to treat people, but like I don't ever remember my parents telling me like
that conversation.
Yeah, like, okay, si miras a alguien diferente, trátalo igual, like, you know, things like that.
Yeah, I have those conversations with my son now. We talk about girls, because you know girls are different, especially right now the age that he's at. You know, girls are going through their puberty change, and boys are going through theirs. So he's surrounded by girls. He's got his primas that are about his same age. He has my best friend has a daughter that's the same age. So like almost everybody around us has daughters or girls around his age. So he grew up with a lot of girls. And growing up with them and playing with them when they were younger, and now getting together with them at this age, he's like, Mom, they're so weird. They're so different. Why do they act like that? So I have to remind him, they're girls. They're girls. They're gonna act different than you. They're gonna think different than you. They're gonna talk different than you. And he's like, yeah, but we've known each other forever. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you grow up, though.
You know, if you look back to like when you were 19, will you be the same person? Like,
absolutely not.
You know,
absolutely not. No la misma pendeja.
No, dude. I feel like if I can go back, I would change so many things. You know.
I know.
But you learn.
You live and you learn, and that's what I tell him all the time. Like, you're not gonna be. Porque we had a conversation where he was telling me, like, I don't even know who I am. And I was like, you're not supposed to know who you are at this age. Like, you still have a long way to go. And you're not going to be the same person.
Girl, I still don't even know who I am. I'm still trying to figure out.
We're still trying to figure it out.
Even after, like, my whole, like, I feel like my life has changed completely, like, 360, like, in 2 years, you know?
Yep.
And I'm still trying to figure out who I am. And I'm 30, I'm going to be 33. So I guess that's okay.
That is okay. I mean, change is good. If you're still the same person that you were in high school, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
That just means that you didn't grow up.
You
didn't learn.
Learn.
did you not have enough experiences to learn? I mean, you can't be the same person forever.
I agree.
Yeah, you have to grow up and grow out of different stages. You te llevas lo bueno y dejas lo malo.
Yes.
Just do that moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we do have those conversations. I talk a lot with my son. Me llama la chismosa. So this whole week, this was their first week back to school, and I know all the gossip from school.
Yeah, you better know all the gossip.
As soon as he gets in the car, he tells me all the chisme, who likes who's dating
but
who.
who's a chismoso though? I'm a chismosa in this part because he's the one telling you the teases. So
you know
you're
what?
just a listener.
He's my son, so we're both chismosos. We're both chismosos because I know all the gossip. I know the teacher's business. I know everything.
Good.
And
I like that he tells you.
I think
things.
it's so cute because me dice, "Are you ready for chismear?" And I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "Yes,
He's
I
so
am."
Cute. He's so
He
cute.
always checks in with me, so I do pick him up from school. We'll talk. He'll give me his whole spill of the day and what happened and who did what and all kinds of stuff. So this whole week we've been having juicy chismes.
Oh, I can't wait for Ollie to start being more, like, you know.
Que pueda hablar un poquito más.
Yeah, because Oliver only knows how to do like maybe one word. Sometimes si le sale like a little bit longer sentence, pero él no te puede decir like, oh, well, I had a good day, or I talked to this person, or todavía no, you know, so.
He'll get there,
I can't wait.
and you'll love it. And
Yeah.
with him, it's going to be even more interesting to see the world through his eyes.
Yeah.
Because when I hear my son talk, I'm basically seeing the world through his eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
sus chismes que él me cuenta
Te los
son
cuenta
through his eyes.
totalmente como a su level, you
Sí,
know?
como él los mira. So it's super interesting. I love chismeando with him. I love our little drive to school and
Mhm.
from school, because when we go to school, he tells me the plan for the day. So this plan for this day is going to be this. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I pick him up and he's like, no, total disaster, Mom. It didn't happen. I'm like, okay, cool.
He's so cute, dude.
But I do know all the chisme de la escuela, so I should write a book about it.
No, you should write a book about you. No, not about the chisme, about you. I already told you guys from the last episode that you guys, I can't wait until she starts opening up a little bit more.
I will.
She has a really, I mean, it's a crazy life story, like, but you wouldn't even imagine.
I will. I will slowly start opening up here and there, sharing my stories, and you guys will understand a little bit more why I am the way that I am, why I carry myself a certain way, why I think a certain way. Honestly, I think that everyone's opinions and everyone's perspective of life is based on their experiences. And when I Googled my name and I found this girl, Maria de Rosario Alfaro, and I saw her life and I saw how much shit she went through, su vida, sus experiencias, la experiencia con su papá que era alcohólico y abusivo, and she got raped at the age of 14 by her father's friend. I mean, it was one thing after the other. And then at 18 years old, she already had 2 kids. She was pregnant with twins. She ended up killing this little girl who was her friend, high school friend's sister. I mean, looking at all of that.
Why?
Well, she was high on drugs, for one. She needed money to buy more drugs, and she remembered that they had a VCR in their house, and they had like TVs and, you know, things like that. So she decided to go and rob them. She said she killed her because she could identify her, and she was high on drugs. But then later she said, because she was with 2 other guys at that time, so she said that one of the guys forced her, and that he ended up just stabbing the little girl even more to like really kill her and stuff.
Sad.
But it's just sad to see like how her experience as a child, like where it landed her.
I mean, that could have been you too, though.
That could have.
But you chose such a different path.
I could have. You know, I try not to judge other people because you and I can go through the very similar or same experience, and at the same time we can take 2 different routes.
Yes.
So I really try not to judge or criticize. I feel bad, and it hurts my heart just to know that sometimes as adults we do things, we carry ourselves certain ways, and we don't realize how we impact our children. Because everything a child goes through, it impacts them one way or the other.
Oh, yes. Do you carry that shit for the rest of your life?
Yep. And even after you go through your healing process, I mean, I went to therapy. I talked to my friends. I open up about my life and everything that I went through. And even then, you still have those weak moments where you break down, or, for example, you hear certain stories and you just can't.
Because you learn how to heal and how to like kind of like use coping mechanisms to kind of like work with those triggers, right? Like, so you're not gonna, so like, I think when people think about therapy, it's like, I'm gonna go to therapy and like this is gonna help me and forget, like this is not gonna forget, make you forget about all the stuff that you went through. It's just gonna help you kind of cope and find ways to help with your triggers and you know, like differently. But I think that's what it is.
And being open to therapy, when I first started going to therapy, honestly, I didn't open up. For one, I was very offended and very upset that my job sent me to therapy, and I was like, ¿Qué me creen loca o qué?
What job was it?
I was working for Bank of America at the time. I went I was going through my mental breakdown. I couldn't function at work. I couldn't function at home. I mean, it was really, really horrible. I was pregnant, so my hormones were all over the place. So I didn't
know, like, work can send you to therapy.
So I got FMLA, and through FMLA, they suggested for me to go to therapy.
Got it.
So I kind of was forced to go if I wanted my FMLA to get approved. And honestly, I'm very thankful that they forced me to do it, because I don't think that I would openly just went myself, like had they not forced me. So I'm really glad that they did force me, because it really did help me a lot. But when I first went, I was like super serious, super quiet.
No,
like,
I feel
why
like,
am I even here?
I feel like if you go to therapy, you have to go in with the mentality that you're literally gonna let everything out, because si no, like, de que te sirve, they're not gonna be able to read your mind or anything, you know, like you have to literally be an open book.
An open book. And just remember that the person that you're talking to in therapy, they can't go and tell anyone else. Like, it stays here. This is where it stays at. It's not going anywhere else. And it helps because they don't know you, so they're not judgmental. It's not like they're there to judge your life and be like, this is where you're messing up. It's simply listening to you and helping you cope with whatever issues you have or whatever is bothering you.
Dude, I always tell everybody, I'm like, even if you don't think nothing's wrong with you, like therapy, it's a game changer. Because like I don't know, I just feel like when I was going through like my past, you block shit from like, you know, you block things.
You do, a lot.
You know? Until you like realize that you get out of that situation and you're like, whoa, like I went through this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know, and again, I'm going to open up as we continue to do episodes. But when I was pregnant with Mason, that's when I had my mental breakdown. It was horrible. I was depressed. I had a lot of anxiety, insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I was raped. I was sexually abused growing up by my stepfather, raped by one of my brothers.
If you're not ready to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it today. No.
You block that. You know what I mean?
Like
you
block
that, and you don't want to think about it.
Yes.
And then it comes and it hits you, and then you're just at a point in your life where you're like, damn, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what happened to me?
Yeah.
So when all that happened, I'm pregnant, I'm having dreams of this person taking my baby, my unborn child, and it just all hit me. Going to therapy and being able to talk about it, being able to open about it.
You were going through a lot of personal things too.
I was.
A lot of personal things, so that also didn't help.
I was. So it hits you hard, and honestly, being able to go to a therapist and open up and talk about it and process because the thing is that when you block it, you don't process it.
Yeah.
You do not process what you went through or what you're going through. And blocking that, it's not going to help. Like, it doesn't help at all whatsoever. So if you are going through something, if you have went through something that's traumatic, no matter what it is, you know, and sometimes you can't talk to your partner or you can't talk to your friends.
You don't want to open up.
Or you're embarrassed about it, or you're ashamed, or you're hurt, or whatever your reason is for not talking about it, all you're doing is bottling that up inside of you, and like one day it's just gonna explode.
Yeah.
And if you wait for it to explode, it's like you spiral down. You know what I mean? So to me, therapy is really, really important. I'm a huge advocate of therapy.
Yes.
I feel like even if you don't think there's anything wrong with you, even if you feel like, oh my God, my life is awesome, still go to a therapist.
Yeah.
Still talk about whatever you're going through, whatever your day is, whatever your life is, whatever your family dynamic is.
Yes.
Just talk about it, lo bueno, lo malo. Like, it just helps you to be able to
understand everything. And
everything.
in different levels, I feel like, you know,
Perspectives,
and perspectives.
See, yes. And so to me, it's really important. My son, we were laughing because I picked him up from school on Friday, and he was like, "Mom, I feel like you're my therapist." I am your therapist. I am your therapist.
I'm your best friend.
Yes. Like, you can come to me, and I know that there might be a point someday where he's not going to feel comfortable enough to come to me. I really hope it never gets to that, because honestly, I love the conversations that my son and I have. I love that, you know, right now last year they took sex ed class. So whenever he has a sex question, he comes to me.
Yeah.
Whether he's talking about it with his friends or his cousins, because I can't stop that, you know what I mean? But I do like that he comes to me and I can answer. And I'm open with him, and I try not to lie to him, because it isn't very important for me to know that my son trusts me. I want him to trust me. We don't have girls, but my husband and I were just talking about it the other day, and he was like, you know what, if we did have a daughter, and let's say she was wild, because you can't control who your children are. Yes. You can mold them, but at some point they start being whoever it is that they want to be. So he was like, you know, if she was wild and she liked partying and drinking and going out and doing all of that, I think we would be the type of parents that would be like, look, you're going to go out, you're going to have fun, we're dropping you off, we're picking you up.
Because they're going to do it regardless.
And if you're like shit drunk,
okay, but I do have a thing where it's like, yes, you want to be very open with your kids, but I also don't, there's a line, there's like a fine line where it's like, I'm not your friend, I'm still your parent. Like, you know?
100%. And I remind my son all the time, because sometimes he does cross that line or tries to cross that line. I'm like, whoop, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not your friend. I'm your mom. You better chill. Yeah. But I mean,
like when you came, remember when you came to get your fill, and like he came with you, and you're like, oh no, ando hablando a él porque
ahorita estoy enojada con él. Yes, I give him the silent treatment. My son loves talking. He's like a chatterbox.
Well, you know how to get to him.
So if I give him the silent treatment, like, that hurts him.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, not right now. I don't want to talk to you. Nope, I don't want to hear it. Nope, I'm not in the mood. So I know that gets to him. So I know that helps him change whatever the issue is.
Yes.
Guys, I brought my son. And I always get on him, because we always tell him, when you're talking to people, when you're talking to adults, you have to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And he was talking to Caro. Caro asked him a question, and he said, yeah. And I was like, it's yes, ma'am. So he was like, yes, ma'am.
And I was like, I'm not a ma'am.
Caro was all in my ear. Tell him not to call me a ma'am.
Tell him not to call me ma'am.
He was like,
just answer the question.
Guys, I'm like literally laying back, and she's like all in my eyes.
I was
like, tell him. I was like, damn, girl, go stab my eye. That was so funny, but yeah.
It's que, like, me growing up, like, my parents were really chill. We didn't grow up like hablando de usted.
De usted. I did.
My mom was, I mean, I don't know, because my family's from La Frontera, so it's like, you know,
Americanized.
It's very Americanized, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I feel like I was a very polite little girl, but my mom never taught us how to talk to adults as like usted, like, oh, ¿cómo está usted? Like, to me, when I would hear people talk like that, I'm like, se me hacía bien raro, you know?
I do. I grew up saying usted, por favor. I mean, por favor, I think everybody does that, but usted all the time. My husband's from the South, so he's really, really big on the ma'am and the sir. So I try to respect that. In Spanish, with Giovanni, es tú. Me hablas de tú. Pero in English, his dad is really, really huge at ma'am and sir. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to respect that part for him. In Spanish, we can nos tuteamos.
Yeah.
we'll be okay.
Yeah. I'm fine with that too.
Like he tutea. My mom, al principio se le hacía super weird. And now, you know, she's so used to it that, yeah, no le importa.
Yeah.
But yeah. So first week of school, The kids are just getting used to it. We'll
Yes.
see how the rest of the year goes. I really hope they have a great year. Honestly, last year, at the end of the year, my heart hurted so much for the shooting estuvo en Texas.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was horrible.
It's scary, dude.
It's super scary. Every year, the first year that my son went to school is when the shooting at Sunny. This was like back in 2000. There was a shooting, Sandy Hook, Sandy Hook Elementary, and ever since then, every year I take him back to school. I swear my heart just hurts so much because I'm like, it's scary.
Dude, I think about
to
it with my son. Like,
yeah.
si algo pasa, like there's a shooting, like él no va a entender nada. Like, ¿qué va a hacer? Like, I have to really like have faith in the teacher to know like exactly what she's doing, porque él no va a saber qué va a hacer. Like, he literally does not know. Like, you know, he won't be able to comprehend like there's a fucking shooting in school.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just. You know, como dice mi mamá, I remember one time, my baby was so small, and I remember I couldn't sleep because I would always wake up just to think he was breathing.
Aww.
And I'm like, Mom, like, como, like, how, like, I can't live like this, like I'm always anxious, like, I'm always worrying, you know. Hay una cosa que me dijo, she's like, es que nomás lo tienes que dejar a tu niño en mano de Dios. And I'm not religious, but that message, like, literally, like, sing to me, and, like, that's what I've been using now to, like, pues,
you know, I mean, because there's nothing else that we can do. They have to go to school. I know
we
that
can't
we
protect
can,
them from, you know,
and you can't protect them from everything. Like even something
That's
can happen in your own home. Something can happen when we're out as a family. It's just, this world is just really crazy, and I mean, every time I talk to my son, siempre lo beso, siempre le digo, I love you, have a good day. You know, I'll see you in a little bit, pero sí pienso en esos padres that drop those babies off, and we're probably like, I'll see you in a few hours, I'll see you at the end of the school day, or probably had plans that weekend because that was the last few days of school.
Yeah.
So they probably had plans to go on family vacations. It's really scary. It's really scary. I really hope they have a good year. I hope things kind of turn around because it's crazy, it's scary.
Well, you know what? I didn't know this, but I have a friend. She has an older kid, and I think he's like in middle school, and she was telling me that they can't even use lockers. They can't lose. And I feel like it's more like a safety reason.
Yeah.
Like, you know, kids, you know, if they take like weapons, would hide stuff in their lockers, but they're not allowed to use lockers anymore.
Wow. Lockers were fun too. I had stickers everywhere.
Yeah,
So.
there were, but if it's safety reasons,
crazy.
you know.
That's crazy. Well, I really hope that all the kids have a good year. I hope that all the parents do also have a good year. This year is going by fast, dude.
I know.
Like we're halfway through August, casi el final, la mitad. What is it? September, October, November, December, 4 more months.
Ya van a empezar las fiestas.
Holidays. Halloween is my favorite. What are we dressing up as?
Yo ya tengo with my twin.
What do you know? But for the podcast.
Oh, it's gonna be a surprise. We can tell. We have to think about it.
We have to think about it. Yeah, I have to think about it too. I want it to be what's her name from Encanto?
Yes.
I got the hair.
Yes, and the glasses.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it.
I see it.
I'm gonna go to the strip and sign autographs.
Yes, dude. And you have like perfect like hair length too. What's her name?
I know. Maribel.
Something like that. I don't know, but I see it.
Maribel. Something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll think about it. But the holidays are coming up. Got October, then we got Thanksgiving, and then we got Christmas. Yay! My birthday's coming up in a few months. Like a whole year later, but I'm starting to plan. Chicago is gonna be it.
Okay. We like Chicago. We already discussed this.
Yes, we do.
But I think.
All right, guys. That is for today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for everybody on TikTok, everybody on Instagram, everybody on YouTube, and everybody that's listening through the audio. Thank you, Vinny, again for helping us and supporting us. Thank you, Caro, for being here, and for all of the audience. They're waving. Adios.